All right. Hi, everyone. This is the Drupal Core Cross Initiatives meeting for May 3rd, 2018. And we haven't had these in a bit because we've been at DrupalCon recently, and then some scheduling conflicts came in. So we're just going to have this one again now. And we're going through the different initiatives in alphabetical order if people are available for them. I don't think we have anyone here for API first. So we're going to skip them for now. And let's move on to JavaScript. What are you up to? Well, our challenge from last time was the config validation, and that was it.
Yeah, we're not really doing much with that right now, as far as I know. We have been focusing on Nightwatch a lot, which I think is almost RTBC, like maybe even today, which would be really happy. We have also been adding a few other pages to our app. I think someone added the content page in, which was pretty cool. We've been chatting to the API First initiative about the JSON RPC ideas, so that will let us like clear cache and do other exciting things. And we have a sprint planned for Front End United, where we're going to talk about lots of hard problems, like how do we make things extensible by modules. That's pretty much it. If Matt and Angie have anything else to add.
That was a good coverage of it. So we're blocked on the API First team for config validation?
Uh-huh.
I don't know that we're blocked. I think we just haven't been focusing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in the meantime, that's going to be the next alphabetical item anyway. So the config 2.0 team is started working. So Fabian Bircher and Alex Pott open an issue. We were talking about meeting technologies. They want to have video meetings, etc. So I'll post a link to their initiative plan here. So they are starting off, and they've been in discussion with Wim Leers and I think Danielle around config validation. So there's some stuff happening there. I think it's still in the ideation phase, but there's a lot of broad agreement that it makes sense to do that, and it would help for config imports. And that was a very fruitful meeting at DrupalCon Nashville with certain interested parties. And I should also make note of these things in the doc. Are there any other things the JS team is blocked on that others can help with?
Mostly we're waiting for designs so we can build them. But obviously that's going to take a little while. So.
Is this?
Yeah, hey, this is Matt. There's just, I ran into some bugs recently with JSON API. I need to file some issues today on some strange behavior, but most of that's related to the content page stuff, which I took over and have been working on. So that's it.
So that's again something that if we would have the API First folks, then they would be able to help with that. It's unfortunate that none of them have been available for this one. I will try to relay that information. Let's add an action item for me on this.
Do you have links to any of those issues where we're running into problems with them?
I've yet to file them. I only discovered them yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to make notes. Okay, so I will help relate that to the right people if that's useful. I think Front End United, there's gonna be Angie, Laurie, at least in terms of core committers, and Roy. I think that's 3. should be good for supporting this process, I hope.
Christina, did you want to talk about admin UI redesign, since that kind of dovetails into what Sally was talking about?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to add it as a new initiative or just inside this or however.
Well, I'm doing that.
Okay. So DrupalCon was really useful because we get in contact with other people willing to help. And we came up with a plan with 2 phases. The first one is to create a new 7 or something like that to have a refresh on the visual for the admin UI. And the second one is actually give the designs for the GS initiative. We are going to meet in Frontend United, and the plan so far for the designs is start designing for the second phase and then adapt these designs into for the first phase. The first phase is the new 7 theme that there's still no name for that theme. And actually, apart from that, there's a group of people that say that they were willing to help to conduct some UX testing, some user testing meetings. We are planning that with several people. And we are trying to see which is the scope. Probably we are going to focus on the content creation page, and also kind of a landing page or something like that, a listing page. And well, we still have to have it clear which are the steps. And on the other side, the design team itself, after DrupalCon, we had some incorporations and we had some first designs. And now with the new team, we are kind of making it bigger and design all the other components that are needed. And actually, Figma is willing to give us a free account for having several designers working together, and everything is going to happen in Figma. And then after Figma, we're going to share the designs with the community. Well, first with probably people from the GS initiative to see if it's feasible, if it can be done. And later on, we're going to open an issue and share the designs with everybody. And that's all.
Any blockers that you need help with, or you're well on your way, apparently?
No, we are just going ahead.
Other than naming the theme?
Yeah. No, not so far. Yeah, but it's a huge issue right now.
I've seen there's a serious bug shedding around what to name the theme.
Yeah.
Sometimes. All right. So you said design for the second phase and then adapt to the first phase. Do you envision having a design for the second phase at Frontend United or for both at Frontend United?
We'll have something general proposal probably, but not a finished design, almost for sure, because it's just 3 weeks ahead, and we're having the kickoff with the rest of the people next week. So no, I don't think we'll have a finished design, but something to share for sure.
Okay. So you're trying to internally work on this. Do you need promotion help in promoting this wider, or not yet?
Not yet, because the more we promote it, the more people will ask for designs that we still don't have finished. And until the design is finished, we don't want to have too much. Maybe people from the accessibility team they will join. We will ask them for advisory, but not before that.
Okay. Do you think that the implementation would be feasible for dev days? So that would make sense to promote it for.
Yes, that's for sure. For sure, that will be actually, it will be great to have some kind of plan to have a lot of people working on these issues for the new theme, for at least for the first part. I don't know if it can be a problem for the GS initiative to get more people working on that. I don't know. I think probably we can get to an agreement on during the Frontend United, depending on what we need.
It does sound like it's a pretty ambitious goal, though, to trying to get this into 8.6 if we're gonna be starting implementation dev days, which I think is 2 weeks before feature freeze, or the week before.
Well, actually, I think some kind of structure, some other thing was going to be started before that, and not so. The idea that the initial idea was to have a theme already done, like the seven clone or something like that, and start working before then, and then have a lot of issues prepared. So not only start then, but yeah, I totally agree that is a really ambitious goal.
Yeah, we get started on it, and if we started on it at that time, we'll see how far we can get. But yeah, we need to be realistic about what is possible.
Yeah. Especially, we should know if it makes sense to invest so many time on that and so many people contributing on that, and then just throwing it away everything with a new admin UI. I don't know, with a GS initiative, because I don't know how it will be reusable yet. I guess we should plan for that on Frontend United and speak about that.
Yeah, there's definitely huge value in solving the 7 refresh as soon as possible. Like, we know that this is a critical reason that people don't choose Drupal, is because it looks just like shit compared to other things out of the box. So I'm a little nervous that we're conflating a quick win, relatively in air quotes, quick win, with this multi-year long ambitious project that we won't see in core usable by normal people until 8.8 at the earliest, I think.
Okay.
I'm sensitive to what you're saying, though. It's like, we don't want to do a whole bunch of work on something that we throw away in a year. And I totally get that, although having it is great.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it makes sense.
But
either way, the time frame is tight, so
yeah, definitely. And it's extremely tight if we're trying to tackle the entire elephant. Like, I don't even know how to go about that. It's tricky, though, because it sounds like the JS initiative really feels like they're blocked on designs.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was thinking it was like, let's do the refresh design of 7 quickly, relatively quickly, and then give them those designs in the meantime, because then it would just look a lot nicer than just kind of like unstyled, and then work together iteratively to make it the swish bangy thing. But I am also not a designer, so I don't even know if that's useful.
So the main work that we kind of do for the GS, most of it is going to be reusable for the new 7 theme, because I know if you are designing fields and so on, it can be actually reused exactly the same for the new 7. So it's not that many work done on the other side. I mean, we can reuse a lot of work for that. So it's not starting with one thing that it's going to be used later. It's doing the work for both.
Awesome.
Cool. So So what I noticed for myself is to promote the implementation phase for Dev Days, for sure, and try to keep it low until then. So we still don't have anyone for API first. We've had JavaScript. So I found the link for config 2.0. It's drupal.org/project/CMI2. And they have bi-weekly meetings at 3 p.m. UTC. And it's already added to the core calendar, and there's a usual Hangout link for it. And there's a bunch of issues tagged with CMI 2.0 candidate that are possible features that need to be discussed. It's already 26 issues. So making it part of these notes for the future. So that's for config 2.0. I have layouts up next here. I don't think we've had people from layouts. However, there's a layout sprint going on right now at Acquia offices. There's certainly a lot of useful stuff coming out of that, but I haven't been able to debrief the team this week, so I don't know what's going on there. Do you have any info, Angie?
Hi. I don't, other than I've seen a lot of action on the issue about adding the ability to add inline blocks to layouts.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is issue 2948064. That seems to be at least one of the places where they're really focusing their time. But beyond that, I think they've just been heads down. I haven't heard a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the reason they are not here. Also, okay, let's go over to media.
Media, okay. So the story with media currently is that we have two major 8.6 targets. And one of them is the media library, which includes a field widget to reuse media that you choose from your library, and a nicer way to upload new media items into your library from, like a node edit form, basically. And that's going pretty well. Currently, the media library patch itself, which just implements the library, which is just a view. So mostly just a bunch of configuration plus a little bit of JavaScript. That is, we got designs from Christina, and we implemented those. We tested it, or we demoed it in the UX meeting on Tuesday, and that went over really well. There was some accessibility feedback, nothing too serious. There are also a couple of like small things, like little problems that we've actually inherited from views. So what we're in right now, the state we're in right now with that is that we need to just sort of open follow-ups. We have to fix the accessibility stuff. We have to open some follow-ups, and then the code is RTBC as far as I'm concerned. So I think we're mostly just, we have to just fix that stuff. And then maybe a final round of UX and accessibility testing, just to validate it. And then I think we can land that. Meanwhile, so that we're not blocked, we've begun work on the field widget, which we also demoed in the UX meeting. And that also minor accessibility feedback, but overall it works really well. And so really full steam ahead on that. And Sam still just has to address some of the feedback. So I'm waiting to hear back from him on that. Should hopefully be like tomorrow or today, sometime this week, I think. So that's the first front that media's got open. The other front is OEmbed support for YouTube, to support YouTube and Vimeo videos right out of the box in core. So we demoed that. Me and Christian Frisch have been working on that patch, and we demoed it for Angie, I think last week. And predictably, we found a bunch of things, but nothing too terribly serious. Most of it can be deferred into follow-ups. And Christian we're still trying to we have the tests passing. There's just some trouble with testing it because OEmbed interacts with external APIs, and obviously in automated tests, we don't want to be doing that. So trying to isolate the test has been a real pain in the ass, but we think we have it now. So what we're waiting on there is just for me to go and give it another review, give the patch another review, and then I think that we might want to do another WebChick test case, but otherwise that's pretty close to RTBC, I think. I hope, anyway. So yeah, media currently is in pretty good shape, I think. And that's it.
Yeah, the lines I overwrote were like needs people to work on it and stuff. So yeah, it changed drastically.
Yeah, we have Sam is doing the media library stuff and everything that everything involved in that, and Christian is doing the OEmbed stuff. So we definitely have people actually doing these things. And
Christina and Roy and a bunch of other people are working on designs for it, like the library picker and
right
experience of that. I've seen a lot of that activity going on.
Yeah, they actually gave us designs, and we've implemented those, and we thought they looked really good. So we're no longer blocked on that or anything.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. I've also seen that there's a sprint plan for dev days as well. That's a bit off, but that's a bit, further off. Nothing should be pushed back then, but...
Media sprint time?
Yeah.
Well, that would be cool. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to that, except in Spirit, which is useless because Spirit can't code. And but yeah, I feel like there could definitely be. I hope Christian will be there. So if for some reason OEmbed hasn't landed by then, it should. But if it hasn't, then I think Christian, if he's going to be there, will be able to work pretty hard on that. And then, as far as I know, Sam isn't going either.
Yeah, Christian and Sean and I think maybe Marcus.
They'll be there. That would be a really good team, I think, to push a lot of the OEmbed in particular spawned a whole lot of follow-up issues. So that might be a good thing for them to sort of polish up for 8.6. The major issue there, actually, the most important one, is that we want to what Angie noticed in testing the OEmbed patch is when you install it, there's like no new media type for you to create or anything. You have to set it up yourself, which kind of sucks. So we want to ship like a remote video media type in core, similar to what we already have for file, image, video. And that's a follow-up issue. And that could be a like 8.6. Like that could be one of the more major issues in 8.6 for us to land. The good news is it's also just a config export, so reasonably easy.
Yeah, we've been back and forth a bit wording there and stuff. But
yeah,
I remember.
Well, the bike shed's open for business on that one. So if anybody wants to, let me see if I can dig up the issue here. Anybody wants to weigh in on what the remote video type should be called and what its wording should be, there's the issue. So come bike shed with us.
So you're good in terms of JavaScript and designs and stuff for the library?
That's all fine.
Adam, is there any JavaScript that needs review there?
I wouldn't say so, honestly. The JavaScript is extremely simple. It's like really basic jQuery stuff.
Well, why don't you point me the issue and I take a look and then.
Okay. So,
perfect.
Let me just locate that.
Send it to me on one of the many mediums of communication.
All right, I will do. Yeah, I think that's all I got for media.
Cool. I don't think that anyone is here for Migrate, but we've just been in the Migrate meeting, and the team is very positive on getting closer to basically ability for even the multilingual migrations, even though there's it's not feature complete, but they believe that all the APIs that need to be there are now there. So it's a matter of plugging in some of the missing features. So we've been discussing quite a bit in the past hour with the Migrate team on who should be responsible exactly for deciding on when that can go stable, etc. And and how do we compile that list and what's missing. So they were very positive on moving forward with that, and that was good. And what else am I missing for migrate? We've also discussed the need for the entity translation migration to be in core. So yet another missing feature. And we looked at and Adam actually promised to review the CSV import patch.
I did review that. That is now reviewed.
Yeah, I've seen the email actually.
Yeah.
You posted an extensive review, in fact, on the patch.
Yeah, I have more things to say about it, but I also just kind of was like, you know what, this is enough to start with here.
Yeah.
Only 30 points of review.
So that's a thing that is interesting for out of the box, I think. So that's moving, but it's not there yet. So I will make those notes, and I will let the word go over to out of the box in the meantime.
Cool, thanks.
Mark or Keith?
Yep, thanks, guys. Out of the box, I haven't kept up with it a huge amount just in the last maybe 5 or 6 weeks, because I think I took so much time off work trying to get it initially into 8.5. I've been playing catch up. It looks like a lot of work was done at DrupalCon Nashville, and thanks, Christina. I think you coordinated most of that. I'm hoping to start getting into it again maybe from next week. I'm going to try to schedule dedicated time each week from work to work on it, because it looks like we have only 1 or 2 critical issues that need work, and then there's a few critical issues that are at RTBC or needs reviewers. So we kind of should be able to get those passed across the line fairly soon. At the last meeting we had, which was last Monday, not Monday just gone, say Monday 10 days ago, we discussed initiative lead or coordinator. So I've accepted that I can do that part for out of the box, along with Keith as kind of co-coordinator. So Keith's going to work on the content and design aspects, and I'll work on the feature aspects and making decisions in terms of do we support backwards compatibility or not, and take the kind of punches that will inevitably come out of that. Do I have more of an update than that? I don't think so from my point of view. The big, I think, issue really that's going to come up is the do we support backwards compatibility? So we've changed one of the issues from a kind of an issue that it's going in that direction to allow people to start discussing it, but no one has chipped into it since then. And I don't know if people are afraid because they don't want to get burnt, or they actually don't care enough about whether we should support it or not, or they just haven't noticed the issue. And I've got a feeling it's because they haven't noticed the issue, because people do seem to care about it on both sides. That's my update. Keith, do you have any update in terms of design or content?
Well, the overlap with backwards compatibility is just the conversation that we briefly had, Mark, was that if we are going down that route, then we do have some ideas that sort of take us towards that in terms of changes to how we present the current version of the theme. That's sort of a halfway house for now, right? At least until layout lands. It's layout that we're probably really needing to help really support the backwards compatibility angle more easily. I think we pretty much worked out that the thing that's most likely going to break is the theme part, as opposed to the profile side and the default content is actually the theme part where the real challenges lie, because that's where the majority of changes are gonna be taking place.
Well, we do have a concern as well, Keith, that the things like might break when we move from using file fields and image fields to using reusable media fields. We're not sure exactly how that can be supported, or if it should be supported, or if we just go and delete what we have. It would certainly break the theme, but we're not sure about the will it break functionality as well.
Right. Yeah. So there's that side, and then in terms of the content, and therefore sort of getting that theme closer to the designs, ever closer to the designs. Quite a lot of work's happened in the last 2 months. Like Mark, I've had to been out of the loop for a while, but myself and Megan have been doing some sprints on content. We've got the good news is we've got pretty much a full articles section now, and the only thing holding it up there is just me finishing off more images. So did a bit of photography a couple of weeks ago, started editing that last week. I am working through some of the issues that were worked on at DrupalCon, so expect to see some feedback from me there. And yeah, that's the good news. We've got plenty of content, and the theme should definitely look much closer to the designs in terms of the amount of content. Once we've worked that in, so yeah, as you say, Mark, backwards compatibility is our bike shed.
Yeah, my feeling is people are afraid to comment on that because it's I think it's quite a high bar to expect that this would be like a living profile that supports existing installations and migrates their fields over to media, etc. That's the kind of thing that Lightning does, but I don't think that we would do that in a demo profile that is experimental either way. Yeah. So it's like making work for others kind of opinion if you say that you need the backwards compatibility, but you likely don't have the resources to devote to it anyway.
Yeah, we certainly don't have the resources to develop to put to it, and even if we did, if we had people capable of it, we couldn't build our new features that we want to build, or else we do build the features we want to build, but we don't have time to support backwards compatibility. That's at the moment. If we got another 5 or 6 heavy-duty backenders involved, maybe we could support it. So it might just be a practical decision that we just can't do it because we don't have the resources, rather than we don't want to or we don't believe in it.
Maybe who should actually lead the development of the new features for the out-of-the-box shouldn't be the out-of-the-box team itself. Maybe people from each initiative could or should help doing that, or at least plan this implementation.
That's a nice idea.
Like, in other words, use the out of the box or Umami as like a rallying point where each initiative is required to write a migration path for their thing. It would be like each initiative is required to integrate their thing with the out of the box theme.
Yeah, something like that. It would be great, I think.
That ties in as well with something Gareth here was saying, that it feels like there's a number of unknowns as well from the backwards compatibility point of view, that perhaps just diving in and doing a kind of, trying a few of these problems out before they actually happen might be the only way we really start grasping what's involved.
I mean, one way. So one of the initiatives that Dries talked about in his keynote in Nashville was the idea of extending security support back, like one minor release. And we were not able to get security team buy-in on that because it sounded like a fuck ton of work and they didn't want to sign up for that, right? So instead, what's happening is they're doing the work. Just, the people who work on putting out new security problems are just quietly also backporting them to 8.4. And we'll see how this goes for a release, but if it goes fine for the entire 8.5 release, then they can look back and be like, okay, well, that actually wasn't that big of a deal. And then the idea is that we could then announce, like for 8.6, that's the policy, because we have a release's worth of data to back it up. So we could try that in this situation where we don't make like a bold announcement like out of the box now supports backwards compatibility, right? But we could quietly try and, do that, without making a big, brouhaha about it and see how it works. But what I'm hearing though is that there's kind of it's less about a lack of desire of the team to do this and less about like a fear of accountability of doing this. And it's more like we just literally don't have people who know how to write upgrade paths and things like that on our team. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think it's also a matter of time, right? If we focus the team on doing upgrade paths for migrating content and stuff, then they will not be able to work on changing stuff to layouts or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like the reviewer capacity on the team, and then core committers in general, they would need to shift for this initiative to review the upgrade paths and do tests for the upgrade paths and all the other fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe finding a way that doing so is useful for the initiatives themselves. I don't know, maybe recording a video, demoing whatever the initiative is doing in the out of the box and adding it in the landing for the initiatives. I don't know, something that is worth working on it for them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I just like them, I hesitate to add more barriers in front of anybody. You know what I mean? Unless I can very clearly explain the benefits to those teams, you know. Because it's already hard enough to make progress in API first and these other things without, oh, and by the way, I'm not going to commit your patch until you've written an upgrade path for Umami for it and with test coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's useful. That's useful background information to know where that's coming from.
Yeah, I still think we need to circle this back to the release managers and help figure out what they believe needs to be done. I think there's a catch up in this backwards compatibility issue to gather feedback, and it's not really happening. So yeah, we need to press on this.
In general, how's the morale? Like, are you guys feeling good about what you're working on and the attention you're getting from the core committers and stuff like that? Or do you feel like there's some disconnect?
From my perspective, it you know, obviously focusing purely on getting back into it, it's like Mark, we just had a ton of work we've had to dive into after spending quite a lot of time focusing on it. So that's probably that's the only reason why there hasn't been that focus that I've been giving to it that I normally would. But yeah, I'm really still very excited to you know, get the work that's been done over the last month in. And thankfully things are, you know, lining up nicely here to mean that can happen over the next few weeks.
I think one little not concern I have, it's more a worry in terms of inviting people into the community. That I think Out of the Box was very good at getting first-time contributors, and I think DrupalCon was very good at getting extra people to it involved that maybe haven't committed to Drupal core before. So I'd love for us to be able to get some of those issues that those kind of people were working on, get them to RTBC or even get them committed as soon as possible. Actually, one of the blockers on that has been simply test me not working. We couldn't apply a patch for 8.6, and I was chatting with Adam about it, and he has it working now that you can apply 8.6 patches, but you still can't choose what profile you want to use when you install 8.6. So it installs the standard profile, and then we have no access then to the Umami profile. So Adam is hopefully going to work on that next, and we get that going. So once that's going, we should be able to test patches much quicker. So it's not that I don't think there's been any issue with core committers ignoring us or anything. We just haven't been getting things into the ready to commit state.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I like that wasn't a poke. Like, why aren't you doing work? Like, totally fair to like take time off after something like that. I was just making sure, because I know we had this huge push, and then it kind of sort of almost got committed to 8.5, and then it did get committed to 8.6, but still with all these warnings everywhere. So I was just making sure like people are still you know, it sounds like, yeah, you guys are like, okay, I had to go whoo and go deal with life, but now I'm back and yay, and things are good. So that's what I'm hearing, and that's great. I just wanted to check in.
Yeah, that's certainly true for me.
Yeah, there's also been all these security releases for release managers, which made it very hard to get their attention on reviewing these requirements, and also generally just to be able to commit stuff, because the core committers were not allowed to commit things because there are a bunch of extended freezes for the releases to make sure that everything's lined up properly. So now it's better in terms of those things. So that should help. All right. So I think that was out of the box. We have PHP unit in here, but we don't have anyone on the meeting for this time either. I've been the least successful in getting people from there here, so we'll
Hang on, I can fix this.
Perfect. I have Daniel.
Wait, here you go. Yeah, I'm just going to make him come over here and give you an update.
Cool.
Oh, there we go. That's the worst. Anyway, hi.
Hi.
How are you? Oh,
Good.
there. That's the wrong way around. You know what happened. Sorry. I could also just join from my desk, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, hi. I don't know the context. I was just working on
PHP unit. What are you up to?
Yeah.
Can we help you in some way?
So I mean, we have been quite slowly in the recent months. One of our goals is to like get rid of all the old tests, which has all kind of advantages. One thing though we are currently working on is removing the old Phantom.js based tests towards using Chrome driver. I don't know the issue by hand, given that I'm not on my computer, but maybe someone can find out the issue, which basically swaps to using Chrome driver, which allows, for example, people locally to use a real browser to test JavaScript tests, rather than what happens with Phantom.js, that you can't really have a look at what is going on. Another small issue we are working on right now, which would be great to get feedback from, is one which Mixologic from the DA opened up, which so right now we are basically running all the tests all the time, which is, I guess, fine. But one idea he proposed was to run some of the more quicker tests earlier, and if they fail, the idea is to not continue running all the longer running ones, which would mean that you would get quicker feedback, but it means that you potentially don't run all the tests all the time. So the idea is you would get failures quicker, but maybe you would need to fix those failures, and then you would see another round of failures. I know I'm on my computer, on a computer. Maybe I can find that.
Yeah, it sounds like it would save some resources on the server.
Yeah, that's the idea, to save some resources, and I think more important, to get quicker feedback cycles.
Mm-hmm.
I try to find. Let me I post the links in Slack in a few seconds when I'm back on my computer.
So one more question is: do you have areas where we can help you?
I think feedback on this particular issue would be nice. As in, do you want to run all the tests always, or do you want to run quicker tests quicker? There's some discussion in the issue. If you're interested in that, there's discussion about the different approaches and which one might have advantages to the other. Beside of that, it would be always nice for people to just use the tools we provide and give feedback in general. But I guess that's true for everything. All right. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay, I will put in the links here. Thank you. So yay! So that was PHP unit, and then the last one I have is workflow. And Tim Millwood said he's unable to join, and Andre was unable to join as well. But Tim left us a message that they believe that the initial workspaces patch is close to being committed now. Thanks to Andre working hard on the updates. That it has been getting a lot of detailed review from people, so that's great. It will still have a bunch of follow-ups for it to be able to reach beta and for it to be able to stay in 8.6, which that requires it to be beta. So there's been the UX feedback that it needs to have the better UX based on the outside-in pattern implemented at the top of the page, basically. That was demoed earlier. And there was a bunch of other release management related requirements that it needs to meet for it to be beta. So not just usability. I've been trying to convince them to do a sprint at dev days, although that's, again, quite late in the cycle, but they don't have a dedicated sprint earlier either. But so far, nobody from planning to be at dev days. So put that down as a challenge. So they will definitely need more people to work on stuff once Workspaces lands, because there's going to be follow-ups in UI and stuff like that. Are there initiatives that I missed? Maybe there's a meta initiative that Angie and I are working on, is initiative landing pages. So we sat down last week and created a bunch of wireframes based on wireframes that Roy created earlier. And tweeted about that recently, so maybe I can find that tweet. So if you think that your initiative could use a landing page like that, then if you can provide feedback there, that would be nice. It's very similar to what the multilingual initiative used to do. And it may need to be implemented on a separate site because of all the limitations. But basically, it's, we posted a bunch of wireframes and looking for feedback on whether this makes sense as initiative landing pages. It borrows a lot of ideas from the topic pages concept that has been designed several years ago and never implemented, and also existing initiative sites. So yeah, so that's it for me. Anything we missed or I missed? If not, then that's it for this meeting. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Keep up the great work. Very good job.
Thank
We
you.
will do. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And if you need any help, let me know anytime, not just these meetings, of course. As always. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.